Welcome, welcome. It is your favorite comedian, I hope, clairvoyant, intuitive, energy healer, and life coach. Technically, I'm a faith healer too. That's what a faith healer is. Anyway, and realtor, Yael Meisels. How in the hell are you? Welcome to the Kosher Intuitive. So, I decided we are, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as I posted that I'm going to do a topic on Jeffrey Epstein and basically talk about what the energy has to say, that is not this episode. That will likely be the next episode, which I'm pretty sure is going to be recorded today. So for those of you, for those of you who have been interested in that topic, it is coming and very likely coming today. So let's get into the tuna of the sandwich. Now, it's no secret, all right, that I recently went on something of a, oh goodness, what would you call it? A holy crusade, right? To rectify things that go horribly wrong here in the Jewish community. Okay, these things really do go wrong. When a community is good, it's great. When it's bad, it can, for some people, it can be awful. And I just want to say something. I know this topic. You guys might see the video and say, oh, it doesn't have a lot of comments, maybe not public ones. A lot of people have reached out privately to share their story. This, as those of you know, this is a relatively recent development in my decision to take action on these topics. There are some rabbinical clergy right now that I and some of my colleagues, we are looking in to the story and the allegation, just to make sure that before we go public with what happened to this, alleged victim, before we go public with that story, we want to make sure, by the way, my whole goal with the business, Shalom, Dave, how are you, my dear? So my whole goal in this show, and what does the business, the Kosher Intuitive, do? This is not this shit ain't 1-800 psychics, okay? My friend watching right now, David, introduced me to one of my best friends, who's one of the strongest clairvoyant people that I've ever met that isn't Jewish, I think, that could possibly walk the flippin' earth. Okay, so the people in my circle that consist of what we like to call the Jewish Illuminati, it really is a real organization for people who experience human phenomena, and that can mean a lot of things, and we do a lot of things. So there are some cases right now being heavily looked into before we take a public stance on the topic and on the crime, just to ensure the victim is telling the truth. You can't just come up in here and say rabbis were mean to me. You need to be able to back it up. And that's important, because what this organization right now is doing is we are bringing real criminal behavior, real rabbis who are exhibiting criminal behavior to the surface. Okay, so disliking someone, I dislike a lot of people. You can ask my friend Dave, he'll tell you that. I dislike a lot of people, but you have to be doing some sort of real for me to come after you in public. So I just want to set the record straight that the people who are being exposed and the people who are being investigated, I can show you conversations between myself and Rabbi Kostowitz of David Ben Nachum Shul, of me begging this man to be a better rabbi. I have, so anybody affiliated with DBN, I'm telling you right now, your rabbi is not shocked this is happening. At least I hope not. Because I have been on this man's ass for 2 years, 3 years already. Bring justice, Yael, hammer and nail. Amen, Dave. That's what we're here to do. Bring down the righteous hammer. Not for those of you who are terrified. We are not talking literally, nor David or myself have abused camping equipment. Anyway, David, it was specifically a tent pin that Yael, so we don't want to abuse camping equipment. The bottom line is we can't have beards and hats and all this shit walking around calling itself holy and then committing egregious crime. So now that I give it thought, verifiable thought, I have been begging Rabbi Kostowitz for 3 years to not be horrible. That's a long time to beg someone. I have been trying to make progress with my ex-husband's rabbi for almost a decade and a half. You have to understand something. These people have done, okay? It's not what they've said. It's not one offense. It's loads. I mean, I've known for a while that people, in this community have had unsavory things to maybe say about Rabbi Irons. Okay, now I hope Rabbi Irons can handle a little heat, because we're about to turn it up. Why am I going after what appears to be an innocent old man, right? Because he's not an innocent old man. He's been doing this shit for a long time. And before he looked like an innocent old man, he was a bad rabbi. He was a bad posek, giving bad advice to several people, not only in this community, but throughout the world. Okay? We can't allow this anymore. We can't say we're terrified of the Islams out in Dearborn, that they're going to come and get us. We can't say we're scared of them and we don't want bullshit with the Islams over in Israel. We can't say we don't want shit with them when we don't eradicate immoral filth and crime in our own kahila. What do you not understand? The crimes that happen against Jews, all Jews, by the way, and this is Torah. This is not my opinion. You can ask anyone who you think is smarter than me. They'll tell you. When Jewish people act bad and inappropriately, horrible things happen to us. Look the fuck around you, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think shit's cool right now? Because I took my kids to Great Lakes Crossing and they made sure to have baseball caps because they were terrified of being seen as Jews in our current climate. So until you're experiencing that, you're going to need to eat a big bowl of shut the fuck up, aren't you? You certainly are. Right. Welcome to yeshiva. Because you're all bitches about to get schooled in what's been done wrong. We've put up with terrible behavior. Let's talk about why there's no tzedakah right now to help single struggling families. Let's talk about it. Do you know why? We're funding a war in Israel. The Israeli government only has so much money. We have a terrible Gaza and West Bank problem. We have terrible issues with our neighbors. And there's only so much money coming in to the Israeli government that you better believe the Jewish population in the global community has had to not only open their hearts, their tehillim, but their checkbooks too, to fund this war. So since we're funding the war in that country out of our pockets, essentially, right? For boots, helmets, vests, things of that nature. Because obviously we're not going to put our holy boys on the battlefield and not be taken care of. But what that has done has strangled the money that can go to help Jewish civilians just live. Now that we all know is true. Why haven't we, why does Candace Owen going on a tangent, right, about Frankism and Satanism? Because there really is something called Frankism. It is like the Jewish version of Satanism. They worship the same shit that any other Satanist person worships. And it's not that there's credibility to their religious doctrine, not at all. What the problem is, they do black blood magic, and that even, anybody who studied the occult and really studied it, well, we know why it works. I'm never going to tell you how it works. I could tell you how it works, but I would only give brief examples. Let's just put it like that. I would never give someone a detailed example on how to make awful blood magic work. But these people who do it, they know how to do it. So if you think there has never been, like ever in history, right, Jews that have put blood in matzah and eaten it, of anyone, probably some sort of kid from a neighboring cult, really, what people don't understand is because these people live underground, their cults rival with each other. They do. So unfortunately, yes, that is a part of Frankism. And yes, Jewish people, or people, sick, evil people posing as Jews, have done these things in the past. No, it is not the majority of us. In fact, the majority of people, Jewish or otherwise, are so uneducated in the occult and in black magic and in Satanism and in Baalism and the shit that goes on in Bohemian Grove, the shit that goes, the Diddy garbage. Like, if someone knew occultism, right, and was schooled in occultism, like your girl, right, you would have taken one honest look at everything going on in the Diddy trial and known this was Baal worship, Amak Shemo. You would have known these are people bowing to a demonic figure, or a real demon. You guys have to understand, just because the collective we's, the good of us, the good people, the yous and the me's, just because we don't do these things, we would never consider doing these things. There's egregious things that go on in the Catholic Church as pertaining to Satanism, Baal worship, and Moloch worship. And the Frankists point fingers at those Satanists, and those Catholic Satanists point fingers at the Jewish Satanists. And I'm pointing fingers at both Satanists, saying both of you I'm coming after all y'all bitches, and I'm gonna kill you dead. Because I don't like what this shit's done to anybody's religion, okay? Just like I care about Jewish children and my Jewish children and the Jewish children in Israel, I care about every Catholic child sitting in a Catholic school. My best friend has 2 little boys in a Catholic school. I would go up in that piece and raise all kinds of it. These bitches would think I was Jesus Christ showing up on a white horse if anything went down in that Catholic school. Y'all know what it is. I'm going to raise hell wherever hell needs raising. Do you understand me? So we have rivaling sets of evil fighting each other. We are in the crossfire and don't really have the education to understand what in the hell the entirety of what's just happened and what's happened and what's brought us to where we're at. I have heard in my 22 years of being an occupant in religious Judaism, far too many horror stories that far outweigh the good ones of what rabbinical figures have done All right. Like, the biggest reason that I think the Chavetz Chaim is a Satanist and a Frankist, biggest reason is because he valued to such a sick degree secrecy, to the point, the Chavetz Chaim valued secrecy to a point where he did not even want people reporting legitimate crime being done. Do you understand how bad of a problem that is? There's no misunderstanding. All right. I've read his writings. If you read between the lines, you will see this man was no gadol. He wanted to make sure he put something into law, God forbid, that protected criminals. And for far too long, he did. And take it from someone who sees the other side of life, someone who does have human phenomena, someone who is probably one of the best in the clairvoyant energy healing space. A lot of people like me, like my dad, worked in government because they're like this. The CIA has Yaels in their office. Mossad has Yaels in their office. The FBI does too. Interpol, the UN, Scotland Yard, you name it, any government on the quiet, on the shh, they have people with rare phenomena working for the government, developing technology, doing all sorts of things. Believe me when I tell you, the things y'all don't believe in, the government hands them out as jobs. Because my dad had one. Okay? So you can't sit here and tell me what does and doesn't exist, because that's usually just indicative of someone being stupid. I look at the Vilna Gaon, who I didn't have a big opinion on until about a couple months ago. And that man's neshama is so holy it could bring you to tears. I look at the Chavetz Chaim and I'm like, geez Louise, what in the fuck did you do? How does your soul look like that? You'd only have had to have been evil. Watch when he's resurrected from the dead what Mashiach says about it. I would bet so much on that. I'd bet so much on that. You have to understand something. I'm not doing this while I might be doing this with a smile on my face. So do the other people other women, excuse me, not people, women who have to come and fight dirty. God bless and, just bless everything that little sassy Flatbush girl does, just sent shower brachot all over her. Because of course it had to take a strong woman to go do what these pussy-ass, pansy, wimpy bitch rabbis wouldn't do. And then we got to go thank our friend over at Zaka, who's again a woman, who had to then take on, come the fuck on! Your men, Yidden, aren't fighting for you. Your women are. Your women are. Your women are fighting for you. The Bas Yisrael women of Klal Yisrael, the women of Am Yisrael are redeeming you. Your rabbis are shit. And we're tired of it. I had to tell my ex-husband's rabbi this morning, who if he were to combust into flames, as a miracle, just one moment there was Rabbi Shapiro, and then out of nowhere, he would just combust into flames. All right. I would light a cigarette and roast marshmallows on those flames. I would, because he's so evil. I hope, because I've heard of people combusting into flames. I don't think it's a rare phenomena. I've studied rare phenomena. So not many people have bust into flames, but my hope is my ex-husband, Rabbi, will be such a phenomena. That would really put him on the map. It would be a real boom. It would be fire. So please God, my ex-husband's rabbi will just combust into flames. And nobody set him on fire, God forbid, because then it's not a miracle. And we want this to be miraculous fire. Pray for it. You never know where God's going to meet you halfway, right? I'm so tired of the bad rabbis. I just can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I have to be an activist for this. I have to come after these people. I have no choice. Because I'm not going to let myself or my children, God forbid, march into any kind of concentration camp or Jewish oppression because y'all wouldn't fix the evil leadership in our community. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll fix the evil leadership. And I'll keep fixing it until it's gone. I am absolutely tired of rabbinical corruption, and I'm going to expose it, make fun of it, and throw energy at it until it's gone. I am simply not going to back down. You don't need to send anyone's children to talk to me. I haven't done anything illegal. I just set a trap for the idiot rabbis that they would call the FBI on themselves, and they did, and then I was able to tell the FBI all the crimes they commit. It was really kind of funny. They fell right in my trap. Because I knew if I raised enough hell, okay, with the Detroit Rabbinical Council, the VOD of Detroit, I knew if I raised enough hell with the Jewish communities, the law enforcement would get involved, and they did. I didn't even have to call the feds. The feds came to my door. It was like feeding, little peanuts to squirrels. Like, here you go. Come get it. Come on. Because the FBI's coming for you people. Yes, it is. Come get the peanut. Come get it. That's what happened. Your rabbis are fools. They didn't even know how played they were. If I wish you guys could have seen my face when the feds came to my house, I was elated. I was like, you would have thought it was Santa Claus showing up on Christmas. It was one of the greatest days of my life. We must stomp evil out. It's terrible. We don't have a choice anymore. I'm sorry, but, let me tell you something. We're going to take, for our friend Steve, we're going to take the Masons, because our friend Steve is watching, as an example. There are very good people in the Masons. Very good people. Very holy, righteous, upstanding men who give and give and give to their communities. They really are. And then you have evil people that really should have nothing to do with the organization who infiltrate, which has nothing to do with most chapters, but they'll come in and they'll pervert the mysticism and do horrible things. Now, those people didn't do that because they're Masons. They did that because they're bad people. So a bad person is going to do bad things, whether you put them in a men's group like the Masons, or you put them in a church, or as clergy, or as in a shul as a rabbi, or in a I don't know of a safe. We're not going to go there. We're just going to talk about the people we know love the God of Israel. There are bad people everywhere. Okay, we have to acknowledge there's bad in our backyards. It's our responsibility to get the bad out of our community. Anybody with a pool would know when you open that pool from the closed season to the summer, you got to shock the water. You got to make sure there's nothing in it. It was one of my favorite expressions. We got to take all the snakes out of the pool. Before you'd let anybody get into the pool, you'd make sure that water is clean, right? Because it's a pool. Same goes for any religious institution. You want to make sure these people are clean. You don't need, in the world we live in today, fuck you. I don't need to meet your representative. I don't need to see you on your best behavior. I want to know who the hell you are. That's what I'm about. And I will go to great lengths to find out who the hell you are if you're on my shit list. There's bitches right now on my shit list that don't even know yet that I exist, that I'm the worst nightmare. That's right. I am the worst fucking nightmare of any evil clergy anywhere on the planet. All right? I hope aliens are real. If they are, please go get everyone evil, wicked, and stupid and just abduct them. Where you take them, not our business. Just get rid of them. I don't care what has to happen. I want the evil, wicked, and stupid, the people that are irredeemable, and only God knows who they are, to be dealt with and reconciled and ended by whatever means necessary at all costs, no matter what. All right? Seriously. I have no feelings left inside of me for why evil people do the things they do. Who gives a shit? Because they're evil. Just get rid of it. You know, we really do have to take a stand. Even Gandhi said, you know, we have to be the change we want to see in the world. Said even by Gandhi. This is me not being the change I believe and a lot of other people believe we need to see in the world. We need to see people stop praying for bad people and explain why they're evil. We can't confuse evil and mental health anymore. We can't. It doesn't matter if Jeffrey Epstein was mentally ill. He was evil. It doesn't matter if Father so-and-so or Rabbi such and such is mentally ill if they're evil. Who gives a shit? We cannot keep undermining mental illness and confusing it for evil behavior. We have to stop that. And we've allowed it for far too long. And it's come at a cost. It's come at a cost. It's come at a cost to the lives of our children. It's come at a cost to the virtue of our children. It's come at a financial cost to the war that not only the Israeli government is funding, but the Jewish people themselves are funding because of that. You know what? We got to stop giving tzedakah to the shit and just get the fuck rid of it already. Take a look at the right-wing rabbis, every last one of them in the Israeli right-wing cabinet. And then you want to tell me none of these people are involved in Satanism? Really? Why can't Israel keep children safe? Why? Why? You want to tell me everybody in the Israeli government's good? That's a bunch of bullshit. Right? We all know that. That's a bunch of bullshit. Why can't Israel keep children safe? Now, it's like Candace Owen it's like what I don't understand about Candace Owen. I've been mad for over 20 years about Israel's pedophile problem. I have spoken on this platform many times over about the dangers of pedophilic behavior, the dangers of pedophiles, the laws that have to be changed, not only in the United States of America, anywhere there's land on the earth, anywhere there's water on the earth, there needs to be a law that if you sexually commit a crime, you are facing the death penalty. Okay? I don't care what has to happen for the laws to change. that any sexual predator dies for their crime. That's the only punishment that fits that crime. And I'm here for it. I want to see, I don't condone physical violence because I know that's not the answer. I know the answer is to send you psychic energy, is to send you to shift the energy around you to make sure that your sins are all exposed to the proper authorities. I know how to do that. It's one of the many services we provide here at the Kosher Intuitive. It's called our Revenge Services, which is our third biggest seller. Healing is the first. Debt collection's the second. Revenge the third. Said it a million times. We help people get justice who thought they couldn't get justice because they didn't know that there's a pile of geniuses ready to help them and show them how to get justice without getting violent. Isn't that amazing? Like, you work with us, and then, like, the feds just show up at their door for some reason. Why? And there's no tracing it back to you. It's like seemingly things just happen for this person that are unpleasant, that brings them to justice. That is one of the services we provide here at the Kosher Intuitive, because we realize how necessary these services are for the survival of the good people. We don't need another good person committing suicide. God forbid. We need to shift those feelings to the really bad people who like themselves a whole lot. That's terrible. We can't have another victim, God forbid, dead on the ground from heart attack, suicide, drug overdose, brain aneurysms, strokes, because they've had so much trauma, drama, and stress on their whole being that the victim, like, sometimes physically can't handle it. These are not the people who commit suicide. These are the people who drop dead from trauma. May no good person ever go through that again. We need to punish our criminals and punish our criminals severely. You have to decide, ladies and gentlemen, are you a part of the problem or are you a part of the solution? I only want to be a part of the solution. When I converted to Judaism 20 years ago, all right, I did not sit up in this bitch and go through that so I could sit here with you people in Gullus. I came to make sure the temple stands at all costs by whatever means necessary, no matter what happens to who. That's what I'm here to do, and I'll be damned, God forbid, before I walk in to a concentration camp with any last one of you because you people wouldn't fight for yourselves. And let's be honest for a minute. What was your opinion of Israel before the hostages? I want to know. How concerned really were you about Mashiach before the hostages? Some people were really concerned, and God bless those individuals. Why did it take October 7th for people to wake the FUCK up? Why? Because you saw in real time what the Nazis did to us, and you just didn't see that in any of their documented videos that you've seen. Do you think shit like that was the first time that happened to Jews? Really? You didn't think maybe it was from God to get up and do better? Really? I took it that way. When I saw those women being sexually accosted, dead and alive, I understood what was happening. I know that they used to take children out of the barracks in Auschwitz and in the concentration camps and hand them over to the pedophiles and hand them over for human sacrifices to the Satanists. Did you people know that? Or they didn't teach you that part at the Yad Vashem, did they? You would just really have to learn about it to know about it. You people saw the atrocities on October 7th, and that's what shook you. You should be ashamed of yourself, because that's what's been happening to our people time and time and time again, because we have not eradicated bad leadership. We have not gotten the spiritual snakes out of the pool. And I'm telling you right now, I am worse than any witch hunter Salem has ever seen. I will get the snakes out of the fucking pool by hook, by crook, come hell or high water, fire, brimstone, aliens, ashes, whatever I have to do. I'm getting evil out of religion once and for all. If I am not the scariest person you've ever seen, you're the biggest idiot that lives. Because I don't have a pinch of mercy on any of these evil, disgusting, Erev Rav, Amalek rabbis. And I will not stop until I see these people brought to justice. Every last one of them. I have goons everywhere watching, reporting back to base. Yeah, this is what they're doing over here. This is what they're doing over there. And you know what we do? We investigate. We don't get mad up in this bitch. Well, we do get mad. Most importantly, we get even. And we make sure that you are brought to the fullest amount of justice the laws of human nature will allow. Okay? I don't care about the integrity of your stupid ass kids. I don't care about what your rabbis think. I'm not concerned with what my children's yeshiva thinks of me as a result of this. I do not give a shit. Educate my kids. That's your job. Next topic. What I do is nobody's business. I'm doing what no one had the guts to do. I'm getting evil out of our community once and for all and exposing all of it wherever I can find it. You can run. You might be able to hide. But even Saddam Hussein was found in a hole somewhere out the fucking Iraq. So don't you worry. We're going to find you bitches like you're Saddam Hussein. That's right. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're no different than Saddam Hussein in a different outfit, in a different accent. You're no different. And let's be honest, you probably don't even have Saddam Hussein's sense or taste. He had a beautiful house, by the way. I hate to go there, but the architecture was lovely. Saddam Hussein, shame on you. May God get you. I'm sure he did. And Shmuel, you're terrible. But we can't argue that Saddam Hussein appreciates beautiful architecture. We can't negate that. Then let's not even talk about the rabbinical library that was in Saddam Hussein's house and all the Nazi memorabilia he collected and the occultism. Why did Saddam Hussein have that, Jews, if it's all a bunch of rubbish? Because it's not rubbish. There really are bad people. There's really bad things that bad people like Saddam Hussein and Erev Rav do that is terrible for all of us. I, for one, am not going to stand for it anymore. I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm super mad about it. And I just want to destroy it wherever I can. And if the FBI is still watching, which, God, I hope you are, it was so nice to meet you. And, thank you for your involvement here in the shit show of the Detroit Jewish community. Our next topic, ladies and gentlemen, we are I hope that clears up some whys as to why I'm doing this. Okay. I just can't not do it because I won't go to Auschwitz with you. I won't sit in Gullus with you. I won't worship rabbis with you. I just won't do it. So, our next topic, speaking of Satanism, we're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein and his girlfriend he's never seen naked, Ghislaine Maxwell, because really? I see, if I were, God forbid, Ghislaine, I don't know. I think I would have attached myself to a different criminal. But we are going to get into that topic. And let me see. We have time to do that now. So thank you so much. I hope this clears up some reasons why. And I will see you on the next topic when we get into the tuna and the sandwich of the shit show. That is the love affair between Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Hamak Shemo, may they burn in hell. We'll see you next topic. Take care.